Greeting fellow modelers, it's been a while. Thank you so much for being here. Presenting today the Etrich Taube from the Quick Build series in Fiddlers Green. Well, without further ado, let's begin. As I keep saying, visit the website of fiddlersgreen.net. There you will find many aircraft, more than enough to build, as you can see. Also, the instructions will be available on my YouTube channel here for every one of the models you see. So that's my plan. Thank you so much for sticking around, and let's dive into our wonderful build. Here, the Taube, or Dove as it was called. Here we have the main wing, the pre-stabilizer, the cockpit area, the fuselage, and the fin. This is supposedly very simple and straightforward. For the first time, I'm going to attempt to do the rigging. Here you see how to keep the wing solid and straight. Let's try this and hope for the best. So the tools you will need for building this would be toothpick, both hole and split, and of course my tweezers. Can't get enough of those. This tool, various things, from taking out the glue out of this tacky glue, which I highly recommend, and super glue, of course, for those quick joints, steel rule for helping with the cutting, and of course my X-Acto knife or any other sharp knife that can hold a number 11 blade, and my cake decorating tool. The ballpoint does come in handy. Scissors, of course, for cutting the parts out. So here are my tools. So for cutting out the parts, you don't have to follow this. You can just cut what needed from the sheet, but I usually just cut everything and just have them ready to build. And I find this technique for me works. Here's a prop. Let's begin with the wings. So with the wings, it's supposedly be straightforward. What I'm going to do is score along the line, fold with the ruler, and then I'm going to cut the top trailing edge out and then glue to the underside. So here you see I'm taking my time cutting, and yes, this is going to be time consuming. Then I put along the trailing edge, I fold. Now you see that little excess there, I use it as a guide so I can continue cutting. And there it is, more or less our wing. Now we need to put our airfoil in it, so we're going to put a slight curve in it, use our tool, which is like the handle of it, and we trim up. After all, we do it with one side, repeat the next, and we are good to go. There it is. The tail assembly, what I'm going to do is a little extra. You don't have to do anything. You could simply cut these out and you would have been good to go. But what I wanted was to just have those ridges, what I saw on the early model, that represent the fabric that was stretched over metal or wood at the time. So what I did was cut the parts out, mark the points where I'm going to score, then I'm going to flip it over. When I do that, I'm going to take a steel rule and then use my marker to draw lines so it forms indentations. And then I use the handle to curve it. So that way now it looks like fabric stretched over wood. Join both half, and there we have it. So it's just a matter of now trimming up both sides, painting the edges when the time comes, and we should be good to go. Here we go, trimming up the edges. I like these World War I models. They just show the dawn of aviation and just a rapid advancement from something simple as this to what we have even today. For the fuselage, matter of cutting out, and make sure to cut the parts out early where the wing would be inserted. This is very important. The Taube or Taube, you can let me know in the comments how you pronounce it correctly, but it was one of those models you look on and it just looked right back then, and somehow you knew it would fly before it told you it could fly. You just saw and believed. It's beautiful in its own right. Here you see I'm cutting out the area that would take the wing panels. We fold along the parts what will take the glue tabs. To get those straight edges now, we're going to bend it over a steel rule, and then we begin with the rear fuselage. Start gluing that section together. Use our flat beak tweezer to lock everything up. And you see, you can get these tools like at a beauty salon, courtesy of the tip from my wife. You can go on Amazon and find it. You know, these things come in really handy. Strongly advise and highly recommend you get yourself a set of tweezer. Here we are locking up the front ones. The rear seems fine, and we should be good to go. Liking how this come together. So let us integrate the tail, the wing, and the fuselage. For the tail, check where the mark is at the base. We apply our glue to the fuselage, and then we check and make sure it's aligned properly. Here is where great care is needed. Okay, so check the alignment and make sure you're good to go. Once that is done, we then focus on the wing. Check the simple inserts first. They're going in nice. Good. We just check. And then we're going to use toothpick. We put it in on one side, and I'm going to put 3 toothpicks. One close to the leading edge as possible, one in the center, and one close as possible to the trailing edge of your wing. Nice. And now that we have done this, we then insert and then slide the other side in and then secure in place with glue. And we are good. Before we start gluing though, let's ensure that the fuselage is flush on the sides and not caved in. And there we have our dove. The cockpit now is just the upper section of the fuselage. We're going to cut out everything. We shade the underside because we won't be able to reach that when the time comes. We cut out this section for the observer and the pilot. The reason why I'm making several cuts there is that it's easier to fold and bend. Also here, very important, we score the edges where the glue tab will be. Here I use the X-Acto knife handle to curve it, but you can use your brush handle. And then that's how I form the cockpit. Put generous amount of glue on one side first, lock it in place, and then we can do the other sides. You should be good to go. Take your time. In 4 minutes, it's not a race. So you should get a good result. Now remember, these are fun build models. Do not look for exact scale, and it really teaches you some fundamental practice and steps you need to build in more serious scale models. And it doesn't hurt to have a variety of models that you can just build in your free time, stress-free. And remember, you can find these on fiddlersgreen.net. So check them out. And while you're there, say hi to Scott. He would surely like to hear from anyone who checks him out. For the fin and rudder assembly, it's a matter of cut, fold, reinforce with a strip of toothpick and glue in position. I want to also say thanks to each and every one of you out there who watch this video, who spend time to follow me and even subscribe. Don't think I take it for granted that you're here and you help this channel grow. I have big dreams, I still have big dreams. And at time real life will step in, but you know what? I have not forgotten you, I have not forgotten your support. And I just want to say I'm grateful to each and every one of you here. Please, if you like what you see so far, don't forget to subscribe. So much more coming up. Have exciting plans for the future. Here we're doing the lower section for the fin. And literally, after we have done this, we basically have our Taube. Now, I see some people refer to it as Rumpler or Etrich. So, you know, it depends on how you know it as. The engine is just a straightforward cube. Don't make it overcomplicated. That's just what it is. I'm really fascinated by the Taube. Despite its name, because like I said, Taube means dove, its unique wing form was not modeled after dove. It was copied from the seeds of a plant that glide long distance from the parent tree, and it was adopted to fit the requirements of the aircraft. So a little gem of history there. Engine in, looking good. Nice. The landing gear and wheel, basically, it is straightforward. For this, we're not going to try to make those. We're going to take one sheet, cut off the excess paper, and then we're going to glue it onto a cardstock. For this, I'm just using something that's 150-gram sheet, but you don't have to. You can just use anything, cardstock, anything, to just strengthen it. I color the underside, and once this is cut out, you can do the edges when you're finishing up, and you have pretty solid landing gear. Here I'm making the holes so that we can fit our toothpick through. The spreader for the landing gear here, take our time, we put it over a toothpick, and pretty much we assemble it as is. You know, it was said that due to the lack of license fees, about 14 companies built a large number of variations of the initial design. There was Albatross, there was Aviatic, DFW, Gotha, I think Halberstadt, and Condor, and many others. Now that we're finished with the landing gear, we're going to repeat the same process with the wheels. Simple, glue to the cardstock again. We're going to cut the wheels out and then cut the center out just small enough, and then we just slide it over the toothpick. And pretty much it is solid. It feels good to be back with you, my fellow modelers. I mean, it's been a break, it's been a while, and like I said, real life happened, but you know what's great? The fact that we're all back here together, having fun, relaxing a bit. Here we slide it on, looks good, check the alignment, cut, and we glue the landing gear in position. Once we are certain, that's where it belongs. And there we have it. And now, the rigging, the poles and strut. This part here you don't have to do if you're just starting. And I don't know why I decided to do it. I guess I felt like I can take on anything, which I can't. But here we are attempting it. So here I split the toothpick and glue it in spots here. Now you will see the video cut and you will see me put in various toothpick that have been split to make it more manageable and smaller. And like I said, you don't have to do this part, but it really does add to the flavor of this model. And when I'm finished with this, I then go on to rigging everything. And this took me a while to learn all of this all over again. And remember, again, it is fun scale. This part you don't have to do, but it really does add to it. And it's a good challenge, yes? Brings this model alive. And so here you see I start by tying it, and you're going to use a needle and thread method. So here you see I start by pushing the needle through the wing, and although the rigging is not 100% what it's supposed to be according to the drawing, it was close enough. And then I have to remember, this is a fun scale thing. So, you know, where mine is not 100%, you can aim for that. But here's what it looks like using a needle and thread to do the rigging and securing each in place using super glue on the tips. Not bad at all. And it took me about, like I said, an hour or two. You should try. Great looking result. So let's just finish this model up, shall we? The prop assembly is simple and straightforward. Just like how we handle the landing gear, just like how we handle the wheel, we are going to do the prop. We paste, reinforce, cut the parts out, glue them back to back. And when we do this, put the twist in after we have reinforced it. And we glue at an angle. Nice. Look at that. Nice. So all that's left to do is to just finish up by painting this beauty. Now here also, take your time. For me, I had silver paint and I decided, let me just paint the forward fuselage in silver. I mixed a slight bit of blue with it now, made a little wash to paint where the engine is, so it gives that reflective thing going on. Paint inside the cockpit black to sort of say, yes, this is where the seating is, and then paint the trailing edge. And there you have a model. You have a good looking model. So I just want to thank each and every one of you who is here every weekend. I look at all the comments you make, and I'm glad you're here. If you like what you see, click subscribe, and thanks especially to my Patreon members who make this possible. Much appreciated, my friends. Until then, walk good, take care, and one love.